Hello everyone, I am Tetsuya. Thank you for coming back to my channel and watching my video again today. So today, I am going to share my interview video of my non-Singaporean friends who are in Singapore or who lived in Singapore before. The focus of today's topic is about how Singaporean society looks like to foreigners. Simply speaking, most of my non-Singaporean friends mention that Singapore is extremely efficient and very easy to do many things and very comfortable. If you are a Singaporean person, maybe you might take so many of those things for granted and maybe you are not feeling like that way. But it is very interesting to know the viewpoints of the people from different society outside of Singapore because they will see definitely Singapore is a very, very good country, very, very comfortable society, comfortable place from their viewpoint. I also think so. Anyway, please enjoy my interview videos to my non-Singaporean friends to know about their insight.
So when it comes to safety, when it comes to cleanliness, when it comes to public transport, I think it's on top there, no doubt about it. Was something that stood out. Efficiency. I think Singapore works like a machine as well. It's very efficient. Everything is easy. So when I say easy, it could be opening a bank account. It could be traveling through Changi Airport. You name it. Singapore is extremely easy to live in. Yeah.
Maybe I kind of like how they tackle the initial stages of the pandemic, especially when they try to inform us in detail about the data on people who are getting infected. So I think that was a very good communication from the government to the general public. And lots of countries are lacking in that sort of like communicating between the government and anyone else in the country, right?
I like how they are very efficient. I mean, I moved here during the COVID time, right? Yeah. So it's like they are so efficient in like distributing the vaccine. That was very impressive actually. Because I mean, I'm used to how sorry to say Indonesian operate, right? So there's all because of the number of the population too, I guess. And it's the distribution of like the vaccine is like so slow in Indonesia. But in Singapore it's really regimented. So it's like, it's like they tax you or you are scheduled for the vaccine. Yeah. I mean how the government is really they're very good in doing their job. I think. I mean, I guess it's not perfect, but I'm comparing it to Indonesia.
Compared to Japan as well, actually.
Basically, when I came to Singapore, the first really noticeable thing was the transportation system. And then, I mean, it is like really integrated, really comfortable. I mean, you can literally reach every single corner of Singapore just by walking and taking the public transport. And then back then, I also like did some backpacking to Europe. Like I went to, I think, Amsterdam, Germany. Yeah. And then when I compare their public transport with Singapore, I still prefer the Singapore public transport. Well, sadly, I never been to Japan, so maybe Japan transportation system is better, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, that's basically the one thing that really stand out from Singapore. And
I think I like Singapore's focus on public transport and everything surrounding like pedestrian needs. So it's very comfortable for me to go to one place to another without going by car or maybe stuck in traffic for a long time. There's MRT and buses. And I think in Jakarta, it's already becoming better. But in many different regions in Indonesia, that thing is still something very rare to find. So when I first got here in 2016, I think that's a very nice feature in Singapore. And it's very convenient to walk around and find out the city on my own, I think that's one good thing that I really like until today.
Approach to developing a city, how everything is planned so well, like a residential apartment. You have all the amenities there. You have a community place there. Then you have access to the MRT should be close by. There's a bus stop nearby, and there are places where supermarkets are nearby. So they have had developed a very integrated network of land development, infrastructure development, and transport infrastructure as well. So I found that the founders of Singapore, they have really put in some real thought of what would make a very livable city, and they've really put all the energies together. And it's a huge task to bring together these different departments, make them collaborate, and come up with a very seamless, integrated way of living, integrated way of community. So you can, so living in Singapore itself is such an enjoyable experience because of this. That you can get down from your apartment building and you can walk down and you can see a bus stop there. And that bus stop can take you to the nearest MRT. That nearest MRT can connect you to the rest of the city. So within 30 minutes, you can reach from one end of the city to another. And as you come out from the MRT station, there is a huge supermarket area. You can walk into it, you can buy things, and you can just immediately go back to home. So everything is so well planned. The eateries are there. There are designated places for these eateries, for these different kind of cuisine you want to have. So they have really put in a lot of thought, insights into understanding what would make community living a great experience. So for me, hats off to the planners of the Singapore city.
I was also impressed by technology. Singapore is very advanced, and I'll give you an example. When you go to the airport and when you go through customs, I forget if it was a fingerprint or your eyes, I forget what it was, but it was advanced. Singapore is very advanced technologically.
Okay, thank you so much. I think you studied some business program before you studied in Singapore. So from that perspective, like a business perspective, was there anything specifically impressive to you about Singapore?
Yeah, great question. Because Singapore as a country, it's like a city and country in one. So Singapore has been developed as a smart city. So if you see, I was studying public policy in Singapore. So we had a chance to interact with a lot of government departments where we understood that the whole nation itself has adopted this vision of being a smart nation. And the word smart is interesting because it, one hand, conveys the technology part of it. On the other hand, it communicates that the intelligence of the people who are living there, how to harness the natural potential of the people who are living in that country. So I have found that Singapore is able to bring both these together, bring the brain power of the people who are living there, as well as the technology. How can technology enhance the brain power of the people? Or how can technology tap into the brain power of people to create such a beautiful city which works in a very structured way? If you see the traffic signals, if you see the transportation system, if you see even applying for all these government processes and systems, they are also streamlined, that everything happens so smoothly. So the ease of living has been enhanced in Singapore by the use of technology. And that's what stands apart from the other countries I have been exposed to.
It has an amazing public infrastructure system, very advanced. So the public transport system, I'm talking about trains and the buses, MRT and buses, they cover pretty much the entire island. And they're not crowded, even during rush hours. I mean, I know Singaporeans would say that it's crowded, but coming from India, traveling on Delhi buses, trust me, Singapore buses are not so crowded.
Hi, so I'm now back. So how was the interview video? I think maybe you have found something you have already expected before you watched this video, but I hope you also discovered something new from the comments of my non-Singaporean friends. Most of my non-Singaporean friends have a very good educational backgrounds and they have a really good observation skill. That's why I hopefully what my non-Singaporean friends shared with you through this interview are interesting to you, and also it leads you to some new discovery about Singaporean society. Even if you know everything about what what my non-Singaporean friends mentioned today, maybe I hope this interview video became a very good opportunity for you, a Singaporean person, to understand how Singaporean society is very good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video up until here today, and I hope you stay in my channel and enjoy my video more later in the future. Okay, thank you and see you.